Good evening and welcome back to Livingroom Shakespeare for Macbeth Halloween night. We are so excited to do a fun, spooky show tonight. And so our actors are waiting in the wings as per usual, though it's a little later, and they are ready to go. So quick business. This is our last show of the season. So please stick it out with us late into the night and we will have a spooky good time. And then we always encourage you, if you are able, to make a donation to the Center for Performing Arts in Rhinebeck, which has been doing drive-in movies all during this month, and I believe is moving back towards some live theater as we get into the holiday season. So check out their website and see what they have coming up. It's going to be fantastic. And hopefully we will get to see some great shows there while we're on break. So without too much further ado, I introduce to you all Macbeth. Let's see. Ooh, Act 1, Scene 1.
When shall we three meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
Where the place?
Upon the heath.
There to meet Macbeth.
I come, Grey Malkin.
Paddock calls.
Anon.
Fair is foul.
And foul is fair.
Hover through the fog and filthy air.
What bloody man is that? He can report, as seemeth by his plight, of the revolt, the newest state.
This is the sergeant who, like a good and hardy soldier, fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend! Say to the king the knowledge of the broil as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful it stood. As two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their art, the merciless MacDonald, worthy to be a remble for that. The multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon him. From the western isles of kerns and gallowglasses is supplied. And fortune on his damned coral smiling showed like a rebel's whore. But all's too weak for brave Macbeth. Well, he deserves that name, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution. Like valor's minion carved out his passage till he faced the slave, which ne'er shook hands nor bade farewell to him till he unseamed him from the nave to the chaps and fixed his head upon our battlements.
O valiant cousin, worthy gentleman!
But from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark. No sooner justice had with valor armed compelled these skipping kerns to trust their heels, but the Norwegian lord surveying vantage with furbished arms and new supplies of men became a fresh assault.
Dismayed not this our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
Yes, as sparrows eagles, or the hare the lion. If I say sooth, I must report they were as cannons overcharged with double cracks, so they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe. Except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds or memorize another Golgotha, I cannot tell. But I am faint, my gashes cry for help.
So well thy words become thee as thy wounds. They smack of honor both. Go, get him surgeons. Who comes here?
The worthy Thane of Ross.
What a haste looks through his eyes. So should he look that seemed to speak things strange.
God save the king.
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict, point against point, rebellious arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit. And to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Great happiness! No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go, pronounce his present death, and with his former title greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
Act 1, Scene 3.
Where hast thou been, sister?
Killing swine.
Sister, where thou?
A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched and munched and munched. Give me, quoth I. Aright thee, witch, the rump-fed Runyon cries. Her husband's to Aleppo gone, master of the Tiger. But in a sieve I'll thither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, and I'll do.
I'll give thee a wind.
Thou'rt kind.
And I another.
I myself have all the other. I will drain him dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. He shall live a man forbid. Weary said nights 9 times 9 shall he dwindle, peak, and pine. Look what I have.
Show me, show me.
Here I have a pilot's thumb, wrecked as homeward he did come.
A drum, Macbeth doth come.
The weird sisters, hand in hand, posters of the sea and land.
Thus do go about, thrice to thine, and thrice to mine.
And thrice again to make up 9. Peace, the charm's wound up.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen.
How far is it called the forest? What are these so withered and so wild, in the attire that look not like inhabitants of the earth, and yet on it? Live you? Or are you out? That man may question. You seem to understand me by each at once, her chappy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be women, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so.
Speak, if you can. What are you?
Oh, hail Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis!
All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail Macbeth, thou shalt be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that sound so fair? In name of truth, are you fantastical, or that indeed which hourly you know? My noble partner you greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of no royal hope, that he seems wrapped withal. To you, to me you speak not. If you can look into the seed of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate.
Hail!
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 Lesser than Macbeth, and greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth, all hail!
Stay, you imperfect speakers. Tell me more. By Sinel's death I know I am Thane of Glamis. But how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman. And to be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Speak, I charge you.
The earth has bubbles, as the waters. Are these over? Whither are they vanished?
Into the air. And what seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind. Would that they had stayed.
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner.
Your children shall be kings.
You shall be king.
And Thane of Cawdor too, were it not so?
To the self-same human words. Who's here?
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success. And when he reads thy personal venture in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do contend which should be thine or his.
Thus we are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee.
And, for an earnest of a greater honor, he bade me, from him, call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What can the devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. Whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did line the rebel with hidden help and vantage, or that with both he labored in his country's wreck, I know not. But treason's capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown him.
Glams, and Thane of Cawdor. The greatest is behind. Thanks for your pains. Do you not hope your children shall be kings, when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them?
That just at home might kindle you unto the crown. Besides the Thane of Cawdor, 'tis strange, and oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truth. Win us with honest trifles to betrays in deepest consequence. Cousins, I word, I pray you.
Two truths are told, as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen. It cannot be ill. It cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success, commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Oh, look how our partners rapt.
If chance would have me king, why, chance may crown me without my stir.
New horrors come upon him, but our strange garments cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of you.
Come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Give me your favor, my dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Let us towards the king. Think upon what hath chanced, and at more time, the interim having waited, let us speak our free hearts to each other.
Very gladly.
Till then, enough. Come, friends.
Act 1, Scene 4.
Is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned?
My liege, they are not yet come back. But I have spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving it. He died as one that had been studied in his death, to throw away the dearest thing he owed as 'twere a careless trifle.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. O worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude even now was heavy on me. Would that house less deserved, that the proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine? Only I have left to say, more is thy due than more than all can pay.
The service and the loyalty I owe in doing it pays itself. Your highness's part is to receive our duties. and our duties are to your throne and state, children and servants, which do but what they should by doing everything safe towards your love and honor.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee, and will labor to make thee full of growing. Noble Banquo, thou hast no less deserved, nor must be known, no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart.
Here, if I grow, the harvest is your own.
My plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen, thanes, and you, whose places are nearest, know we shall establish our state upon our eldest, Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland, from hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you.
The rest is labor, which is not used for you. I'll be myself the harbinger and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach. So humbly take my leave.
My worthy Cawdor.
The Prince of Cumberland. That is a step on which I must fall down, or else overleap, for in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye wink at the hand, yet let that be which the eye fears when it is done to see.
True worthy Banquo, he is full so valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. It is a banquet to me. Let's after him, whose care is gone before to bid us welcome. It is a peerless kinsman.
Act 1, Scene 5.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by perfectest report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in wonder of it, came a missive from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me, and referred to me in the coming of time with, Hail, king that shalt be. This have I thought good to deliver to thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised to thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Lambs thou art, and Cawdor shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. Thou art too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, but not without ambition, but without that sickness that should catch it. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirit in thy ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal. What are your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him, who, were it so, would have informed for preparation?
So please you, it is true, our Thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him, who almost dead for breath had scarcely more than would make up this message.
Give him heat pending. He brings great news. The raven himself is hoarse, who croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thought, unsex me now and fill me from the crown to the toe top, full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood, and stop up all access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature impede me from my fell purpose, or keep the peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breast, you murdering ministers, wherever in the dark of night you tend on nature's mischief and take my milk for gall. Come, black night, and dun me in the darkest smoke of hell, that my keen knife sees not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the shadow of the dark to cry, hold, hold. Great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all-hail hereafter. Your face, my Thane, your words have transported me beyond this instant, and I see now the future in the moment.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my Thane, is as a book, wherein men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent serpent, the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for. And you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall to all our days and nights to come give solely solemn sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. To alter favor ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
Act 1, Scene 6.
This castle hath a pleasant seat. The air, nimbly and sweetly, recommends itself unto our gentle senses. See, our honored hostess. The love that follows us sometimes is our trouble, which still we thank is love. Herein I teach you how you shall bid God ild us for your pains, and thank us for your trouble.
All our service, in every point twice done and then done double. Poor and single business to contend against those honors deep and broad, wherein your majesty loads our house. For those of old, and the late dignities heaped up to them, we rest your hermits.
Where's the Thane of Cawdor? We cursed him at his heels, and had a purpose to be his purveyor. But he rides well, and his great love, sharp as his spur, hath helped him to home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guest tonight.
Your servants ever have theirs themselves, and what is theirs in compt, to make their audit to your highness's pleasure, still to return your own.
Give me your hand. Conduct me to mine host. We love him highly, and shall continue our graces towards him. By your leave, hostess.
Act 1, Scene 7.
If it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. The assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But here, upon this bank and shoal of time, will jump the life to come. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed, then as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels, trumpeted-tongued, against the deep damnation of his taking off, and pity like a newborn babe striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim, horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye. The tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. How now? What news?
He has almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Know you not he has?
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Has it slept since? And wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this moment such I account your love. Art thou afeared to be the same in thy own act and valor as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemest the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage?
Prithee, peace. I dare do all that man may become a man. Who dares do is more than none.
What beast was it then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then were you a man. And to be more than what you are, you would be so much more the man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, but you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now doth unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed its brains out, had I so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail.
We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place, and we shall not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall this day's hard journey soundly invite him. His 2 chamberlains will I with wine and wassail so convince that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limbeck only. When in swinish sleep their drenched natures lie as in a death, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forth men children only. For thy undaunted mettle should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy 2 of his own chamber, and used their very daggers that they have done?
Who dare receive it other, as we shall make our griefs and clamor roar upon his path.
I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
Act 2, Scene 1.
How goes the night, boy?
The moon is down. I have not heard the clock.
She goes down at 12.
I take it 'tis later, sir.
Hold, take my sword. There's husbandry in heaven. Their candles are all out. Take thee that too. That. A heavy summon lies like lead upon us, and yet I will not sleep. Merciful power is restraining me the cursed thoughts that nature gave way to in repose. Give me my sword. Who's there?
A friend.
Oh, well, sir, that ye rest. The king's abed. It has been in unusual pleasure, and send forth great largesse to your officers. This diamond he greets your wife withal, by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect, which else should free have wrought.
All's well. I dreamt last night of the 3 weird sisters. To you, they have showed some truth.
I think not of them. Yet, when we can entreat an hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant me the time.
At your kindest leisure.
If you shall cleave to my consent when 'tis, it shall make honor for you.
so I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchise and allegiance clear. I shall be consuled.
Good repose the while.
Thanks, sir. Delights to you.
Go bid thy mistress, when my drink is ready, she strike upon the bell, and get thee to bed. Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle towards my hand. Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? I see thee yet in form as palpable as this which I now draw. Thou marshalest me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fool, so the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade in dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Thou sure and firm set earth hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear the very stones prate of my whereabouts, and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. Whiles I threat, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Act 2, Scene 2.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark! Peace! Was the owl that shrieked, the fatal bellman which gives the sternest good night. He is about it now. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charges with snores. They have drugged their possets, that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there? What ho?
Alack, I'm afraid they have awaked, it is not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. Hark! I laid their daggers there. He could not miss 'em. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it. I husband.
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did you not speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended?
I.
Hark! Who lies in the second chamber?
Donald Bain.
This is a sorry sight.
A foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
There's one did laugh in his sleep, and one cried murder. That they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and addressed them again to sleep. One cried,
two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen, the other, as they had seen me with these hangman's hands, listening their fears. I could not say amen when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I had must need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways, and so it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep. The innocent sleep, sleep that knits up the raveled sleeve of care, chief nourisher in life's feast.
What do you mean?
Still it cried, sleep no more to all the house. Glamis hath murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? Why, worthy Thane, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brainsickly of things. Go, get some water and wash this filthy witness from your hand. Why did you bring these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, carry them and smear the sleepy groom with blood.
I'll go no more. I am afraid to think what I have done. Look on't again, I dare not.
And firm of purpose. Give me the daggers. The dead and the sleeping are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears the painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? How is't with me, when every noise appalls me? What hands are here that pluck out mine eyes? Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No, this my hand would rather the multitudinous seas in incarnate make the green one red.
My hands are of your color, but I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear knocking at the south entrance. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy is it then? Hark! Your constancy hath left you unattended. Hark, more knocking. Get on your nightgown, lest occasion call us and choice to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not know myself. Wake Duncan with thy knocking, I would thou couldst.
Act 2, Scene 3.
Is a knocking indeed. If a man were porter of a hell gate, he should have old turning the key. Knock, knock, knock! Who's there? In the name of Beelzebub. Here's a farmer that hanged himself on the expectation of plenty come in time. Have napkins and now about you. Here, you'll sweat for it. Knock, knock! Who's there? In the other devil's name. Faith, here's an equivocator who committed treason enough, for God's sake. It could not equivocate to heaven. Oh, come in, equivocator. Knock, knock, never at rest. What are you? But this place is too cold for hell. I'll devil porter it no further. Anon, anon, I pray you. Remember the porter.
Was it so late, friend? Ere you went to bed that you do lie so late?
Faith, sir. We were carousing till the second cock. And drink, sir, is a great provoker of three things.
What three things does drink especially provoke?
Marry, sir. Nose painting, sleep, and urine. Lechery, sir, it provokes and unprovokes. It provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be an equivocator with lechery. It makes him, it mars him, it sets him on, it takes him off, makes him stand to, and not stand to. In conclusion, equivocates him in his sleep, and giving him the lie leads him.
I believe the drink gave thee the lie last night.
Yeah, that it did, sir, in the very throat of me.
Is thy master stirring? Our knocking has awakened him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both.
Is the king stirring, worthy thing?
Not yet.
He did command me to call timely on him. I've almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know this is a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
The labor we delight in physics pain. This is the door.
I will make so bold a call for my 'tis limited service.
Goes the king hence today?
He does. He did appoint it so.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down, and as they say, lamentings heard of the air. Strange screams of death and prophesying with accents terrible, and dark combustion and confused events clamored the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverish and did shake.
'Twas a rough night.
My young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Oh! Horror! 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 Tongue or heart cannot conceive nor name thee.
What's the matter?
Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke up the Lord's anointed temple and stole from thence the life of the building.
What is to say? The life?
You knew his majesty?
Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with the new Grogan. Do not bid me speak. See, and then speak for yourselves. Awake! Awake! Ring the alarm bell! Murder and treason! Banquo! Donalbain! Malcolm, awake! Shake off this drowsy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself! Up! Up and see the great doom's image, Malcolm! Banquo! And from your graves, rise up and walk like sprites to countenance this or ring the bell!
What's the business that such hideous trumpet calls the sleepers of the house? Speak! Speak!
Gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell. Banquo! Banquo! Our royal master is murdered.
Oh, alas, in our house!
Not too cruel anywhere. Dear dove, I prithee, contradict yourself and say it is not so.
Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time. For from this instant the wine of life is drawn, and the mere lees is left to the vault to brag of.
What is amiss?
You are, and do not know it. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father is murdered.
Oh, by whom?
Those of his chambers, it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were embadged with blood. So were their daggers, and unwiped we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Yet I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Who can be wise, amazed, temperate, and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? No man. The expedition my violent love outrun the pauser reason. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gashed stab looked like a breach in nature for ruin's wasteful entrance. There the murderers, steeped in the colors of their trade, their daggers unmannerly breached with gore. Who can refrain that had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make love known?
Help me, Hansel!
Look to the lady.
Why do we hold our tongues, that most may claim this argument for ours?
What should be spoken here? Where our fate, hidden auger hole, may rush and seize us? Let's away. Our tears are not yet brewed.
Nor our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Oh, look to the lady. And when we have our naked frailties hid that suffer in exposure, let us meet to and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretense I fight of treasonous malice.
And so do I.
So
all.
Let's briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
Well contented.
Welcome.
What will you do? Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. I'll to England,
To Ireland, our separated fortune, shall keep us both safer where we are. There's daggers in men's smiles.
Act 2, Scene 4.
Well, 70 I can remember well, within the volume of which time I have seen hours dreadful and things strange, but this sore night hath trifled former knowings.
Our good father, thou seest the heavens as troubled with man's act threaten his bloody stage. By the clock 'tis day, and yet dark night strangles the travelling lamp. Is night's predominance or the day's shame that darkness does the face of earth entomb when living light should kiss it?
'Tis unnatural, even like the deed that's done. On Tuesday last, a falcon, towering in her pride of place, was by a mousing owl hawked at and killed.
And Duncan's horses, a thing most strange and certain, beauteous and swift, the minions of their race turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, contending against obedience as they would make war with mankind.
'Tis said they ate each other.
They did so, to the amazement of mine eyes that looked upon it. Here comes the good Macduff. How goes the world, sir, now?
I see you not.
Is't known who did this more than bloody deed?
Those that Macbeth had slain.
Alas the day. What good could they pretend?
They were summoned. Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's two sons, they are stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed.
Then 'tis most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth.
He is already named, and gone to Scone to be invested.
Will you to Scone?
No, cousin, I'll to Fife.
I will thither.
Well, may you see things well done there. Adieu, lest our old robes sit easier than our new.
Act 3, Scene 1.
Thou hast it now, King Cawdor climbs all. As the weir women promised, and I fear thou playest most foully for it. It was said he should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If there comes truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine, why the verities on thee made good, and may they not be my oracles as well? And set me up in hope. Hush, no more.
Here is our chief guest.
If he had been forgot, it had been as a gap in our great feast, and all thing unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with a most indissoluble tie, forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon.
Aye, my good lord.
We should have else desired your good advice. Is't far you ride?
As far, my lord, as we'll throw up the time twixt this and supper. Go not my horse the better. I must become a borrower of the night for dark hour or twain.
Fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their hearers with strange invention, but of that tomorrow, when therewithal we shall have the cause of state craving us jointly. Hie you to your horse, adieu, till you return at night. Goes Fleance with you?
Aye, my good lord. Our time does call upon us.
Well, I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so do I commend you to their backs. Farewell. Let every man be master of their time, till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will keep ourselves till supper time alone. Well then, God be with you. Sirrah, a word with you. Attend those men our pleasure.
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
Bring them before us. To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo strike deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares. To that dauntless temper of his mind he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valor to act in safety. There is none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked, as it is said, Mark Antony's was by Caesar. He chid the sisters when first they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. Then prophet-like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they put a fruitless crown, no son of mine succeeding. If be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind. For them, the gracious Duncan, have I murdered, put rancors in the vessel of my peace, only for them, and mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seed of Banquo, kings. Rather than so, come fate into the list, and champion me to the utterance. Who's there? Now, go to the door and stay there till we call. Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was, so please your highness.
Well then. Now, have you considered of my speeches? Know that it was he, in the times past, which held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self.
You made it known to us.
I did so, and went further, which is now our point of second meeting. Do you find your patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospeled to pray for this good man and for his issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever?
We are men, my liege.
Aye. In the catalogue ye go for men, as hounds and greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curs, all by the name of dogs, the valued file.
I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world have so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the
And
world.
I another, so weary with disasters, tugged with fortune, that I would set my lie on any chance, to mend it, or be rid on't.
Both of you know Banquo was your enemy.
True, my lord.
True, my lord.
So is he mine. And in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrusts against my nears of life. And though I could, with barefaced power, sweep him from my sight and bid my will avouch it, yes, I must not. Certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, who I myself struck down. And thence it is that I to your assistance do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command us.
Oh, our lives.
Your spirits shine through you. Within this hour at most, I will advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time, the moment hot, for must be done tonight. And something from the palace, always thought that I require a clearness, and with him, to leave no rubs or botches in the work. Fleance, his son, that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than of his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart. I'll come to you anon.
We are resolved.
We are resolved, my lord.
I'll call upon you straight. Abide within. It is concluded. Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
Act 2, Scene 2. 3-2.
Is Banquo gone from court?
Aye, madam, but returns again tonight.
Say to the king I would attend his leisure for a few words.
Madame, I will.
Not had. All spent where our desire is got without content. Safer to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone? Of sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died. With them they think on. Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scotched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, better be with the dead, whom we, to gain our peace, have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst. Nor steel nor poison can touch him further.
Come on, gentle my lord, sleek o'er your rugged looks. Be bright and jovial among your guests tonight.
So shall I, love, and so I pray be you. And let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him eminence both with eye and tongue, unsafe the while that we may lave our honors in the flattering streams, and make our faces visards to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
Full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowest that Banquo and his fleance still live.
But in them nature's copies not in turn.
There's comfort yet. There shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rocky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvelest at my words, but hold these still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So, prithee go with me.
Act 3, Scene 3.
Who did bid thee join with us?
Macbeth.
He needs not our mistrust, since he delivers our offices, and what we have to do to the direction just.
Then stand with us.
A light! A light!
'Tis he.
Stand shoot.
Could be a ring tonight.
Let it come down!
Oh, Treasury! Fly, go, fleeing! Fly, fly, fly! Oh, I'm made for revenge! Oh, slave!
Who did strike out the light?
Was not the way?
There's but one down. The sun has fled.
We have lost best half of our affair.
Well, let's away and say how much is done.
Act 3, Scene 4.
You know your own degrees. Sit down. At first and last, the hearty welcome.
Thanks to your majesty.
Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time will we require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends. For my heart speaks, they are welcome.
See, they encounter thee with their heart's thanks. Both sides are even. Here I'll sit in the midst. Be large in mirth, anon we'll drink a measure of the table round. There's blood on thy face.
Banquo's then.
'Tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut, that I did for him.
Thou art the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like for fleance. Thou didst. Thou art the nonpareil.
Most royal sir, lance is straight.
Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect, but now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound into saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe.
Aye, my good lord. Safe in a ditch he lies. 20 trench gashes on his head. Least in death to nature.
Thanks for that. Then the grown serpent lies. The worm that's fled hath nature that in time will venom breed. No teeth for the present. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold, that is not often vouched. While 'tis in making, 'tis given with welcome. To feed were best at home. From thence, the sauce to meat is ceremony. Meeting were bare without it.
Sweet remembrancer. Now good digestion, weight on appetite, and health on both.
May it please your highness sit.
Here had we now our country's honor roofed, with a graced person of our Banquo present, who may I rather challenge for unkindness and pity for mischance.
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Pleased your highness to grace us with your royal company.
The table's full.
Here's a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What is it that moves your highness?
Which of you has done this?
What, my good lord?
Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me.
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you keep seat. If it is but momentary, upon a thought he will be well again. If you much note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Feed and regard him not. Are you a man?
Aye, and a bold one that dare look on that which might appall the devil.
Proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. With these flaws and starts, impostors to true fear would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her grandam. Shame itself. Why do you make such faces? When all's done, you look but on a stool.
Prithee, see there! Behold, look! Look how I say you! Why, what care I? If thou canst not, speak to!
But quite unmanned in folly.
If I stand here, I saw him.
For shame.
Blood hath been shed ere now, the olden time, too terrible for the ear. Times have been that when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again with 20 mortal murders on their crowns, and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all. Then I'll sit down. Give me some wine. Fill full. I drink to the general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would that he were here. To all and him we thirst, and all to all.
Our duties and the pledge.
Avaunt and quit my sight! Let the earth hide thee! Thy bones are marrowless. Thy blood is cold. Thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with.
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom, it is no other. Only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
What man dare, I dare. Approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros or the Hyrcan tiger. Take any shape but that. and my firm nerve shall never tremble or be alive again, and dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling I inhabit, then protest me the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence! So being gone, I am man again. Pray you, sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with the most admired disorder.
Can such things be, and overcome us like a summer's cloud without our special wonder? You make me strange even to the disposition that I owe, when now I think you can behold such sights, and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks when mine is blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
I pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night, and better health attend his majesty.
A kind good night to all.
It will have blood. They say blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have by maggot pies and choughs and rooks brought forth the secretest man of blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with morning. Which is which?
How sayest thou? That Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it by the way, but I will send. There's not a one of them, but in his house I keep a servant feed. I will tomorrow, and betimes I will to the weird sisters. More shall they speak. For now I am bent to know by the worst means the worst. For mine own good, all causes shall give way. I am in blood steeped in so far that should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er. Strange things I have in head, that will to hand which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
You lack the season of all natures. Sleep.
Come, we'll to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are yet but young indeed.
Act 3, Scene 5.
Why, how now, Hecate? You look angrily.
Have I not reason, beldams as you are saucy and overbold? How did you dare to trade and traffic with Macbeth in riddles and affairs of death? And I, the mistress of your charms, the close contriver of all harms, was never called to bear my part or show the glory of our art. And which is worse, all you have done hath been but for a wayward son, spiteful and wrathful, who, as others do, loves for his own ends, not for you. But make amends now. Get you gone, and at the pit of Acheron meet me in the morning. Thither he will come to know his destiny. Your vessels and your spells provide your charms and everything beside. I am for the air. This night I'll spend unto a dismal and a fatal end. Great business must be wrought ere noon. Upon the corner of the moon there hangs a vaporous drop profound. I'll catch it ere it come to ground, and that distilled by magic sleights shall raise such artificial sprites as by the strength of their illusion shall draw him onto his confusion. He shall spurn fate, scorn death, and bear he hopes but wisdom, grace, and fear. And you all know security is mortal's chiefest enemy. Hark! I am called, for my little spirit sea sits in a foggy cloud and stays for me.
Come, let's make haste. She'll soon be back again.
Act 3, Scene 6.
My former speeches have but hit your thoughts, which can interpret further. Only I say things have been strangely born. The gracious Duncan was pitied of Macbeth. Marry, he was dead. And the right valiant Banquo walked too late, whom you may say, if it please you, Fleance killed, for Fleance fled. Men must not walk too late who cannot want the thought how monstrous it was for Malcolm and for Donalbain to kill their gracious father. Damn back, how it did grieve Macbeth, did he not straight in pious rage the two delinquents tear that were the slaves of drink and thralls of sleep? Was that not nobly done? Aye, and wisely too, for it would have angered any heart alive to hear the men deny it. So that I say he hath borne all things well, and I do think that had he Duncan's sons under his key, and shall please heaven he shall not, they should find what 'twere to kill a father, so should Fleance. But peace, from broad words and cause he failed his preserves at the tyrant's feast, I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. Sir, can you tell where he bestows himself?
The son of Duncan, from whom this tyrant holds the due of birth, lives in the English court and is received of the most pious Edward with such grace that the malevolence of fortune nothing takes from his high respect. Thither Macduff is gone to pray the holy king upon his aid to wake Northumberland and warlike Seward, that by the help of these, with him above to ratify the work, we may again give to our tables meat, sleep to our nights free from our feasts and banquets bloody knives, do faithful homage and receive free honors, all which we pine for now. And this report have so exasperate the king that he prepares for some attempt of war.
Sent he to Macduff?
He did, and with an absolute, "Sir, not I," the cloudy messenger turns me his back, and hums as who should say, "You'll rue the time that clogs me with this answer."
And that well might advise him to a caution, to hold what distance his wisdom can provide. Some holy angel fly to the court of England and unfold his message ere he come, that a swift blessing may soon return to this our suffering country under a hand accursed.
I'll send my prayers with him.
Act 4, Scene 1.
Thrice the brinded cat hath mewed.
Thrice and once the hedge pig whined.
Harpier cries, "'Tis time, 'tis time."
Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Toad that under cold stone days and nights has 31 sweltered venom sleeping got. Boil thou first in the charmed pot. Double, double toil and trouble. Fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Fillet of a fenny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog, for a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble. Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, maw and gulf. Of the raven sea salt shark, root of hemlock digged in the dark. Finger of a birth-strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drab. Make the gruel thick and slab, and thereto a tiger's chaudron, for all the ingredients of our cauldron. Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good. By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open, locks, whoever knocks.
Oh, well done. I commend your pains, and everyone shall share in the gains. And now about the cauldron sing, live elves and fairies in a ring, enchanting all that you put in.
How now, you secret, black and midnight hags? What is't you do?
A deed without a name.
I conjure you, by that which you profess, howe'er you come to know it, answer me to what I ask you.
Speak.
Demand.
Will answer.
Say if thou'dst rather hear it from our mouths or from our masters.
Call him. Let me see him.
Pour in sow's blood that hath eaten her 9 pharaoh. Grease that's sweatin' from the murderer's gibbet throw into the flame. Come, high or low, thyself and office deftly show.
Tell me, thou unknown power.
He knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou naught.
Macbeth, Macbeth, beware Macduff, beware the Thane of Fife. Dismiss me. Enough.
Whate'er thou art, for thy good caution, thanks. Thou hast harped my fear aright, but one word more.
He will not be commanded. Here's another, more potent than the first.
Macbeth! Macbeth! Macbeth!
Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee.
Be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? But yet I'll make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies, and sleep in spite of thunder. What is this that rises like the issue of a king, and wears upon his baby brow the round and top of sovereignty?
Listen, but speak not to it.
Be lion-mettled, proud, and take no care who chafes, who frets, or where conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Birnam wood to high Dunsinane hill shall come against him.
That will never be. Who can impress the forest, bid the tree, unfix his earthbound root? Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more.
I will be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know.
Show.
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 Show his eyes, and grieve his heart.
Come like shadows, so depart.
Thou art too like the spirit of Banquo. Down! Thy crown doth sear my eyeballs, and thy hair, thou other gold-bound brow, is like the first. A third is like the former. Filthy hags, why do you show me this? A fourth? Starred eyes, will the line stretch out to the crack of doom? Another yet, a 7th, I'll see no more. And yet the 8th appears, who bears a glass which shows me many more. I see it. 'Tis true, for the blood-boltered Banquo smiles upon me and points at them for his. What is this so?
Aye, sir, all this is so. But why stands Macbeth thus amazedly? Come, sisters, cheery up his sprites and show the best of our delights. I'll charm the air to give a sound while you perform your antic round, that this great king may kindly say, our duties did his welcome pay.
Where are they? Gone. At this pernicious hour stand I accursed in the calendar. Come in without there.
What's your grace's will?
Saw you the weird sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infected be the air whereupon they ride, and damned all those that trust them. I did hear the galloping of horse. Who was it came by?
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that brought you word Macduff has fled to England.
Fled to England?
Aye, my good lord.
Time thou anticipatest my dread exploits. The castle of Macduff I will surprise. Seize upon Fife. Give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool. This deed I'll do before the purpose cool. But no more sights. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are.
Act 4, Scene 2.
What had he done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none. His flight was madness when our actions do not. Our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom? To leave his wife? To leave his babes? His mansion, his titles, in a place from whence himself does fly? He loves us not. He wants a natural touch. For the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight her young ones in her nest against the owl. All is the fear and nothing is the love. As little is the wisdom where the flight so runs against all reason.
My dearest coz, I pray you school yourself. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much further, but cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves. When we hold rumor from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea each way and move. I take my leave of you. Shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Things at the worst will cease or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessing upon you.
Fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless.
I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer, it would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Sirrah, your father's dead.
My father is not dead, for all you're saying.
Yes, he is dead. How wilt thou do for a father?
Nay, how wilt thou do for a husband?
Why, I can buy me 20 at any market.
Then you'll buy him to sell again.
Thou speakest with all thy wit, and yet I faith with wit enough for thee.
Was my father a traitor, mother?
Aye, that he was.
What is a traitor?
Why, one that swears and lies.
And be all traitors that do so?
Everyone that does so is a traitor and must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Everyone.
Who must hang them?
Why, the honest men.
Then the liars and swearers are fools, for there are liars and swearers now to beat the honest men and hang them up.
Now, God help thee, poor monkey. But how wilt thou do for a father?
If he were dead, you'd weep for him. If you would not, it were a good sign that I should quickly have a new father.
Poor prattler, how thou talkest. What are these faces?
Where is your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified, where such as thou mayst find him.
He is a traitor.
Thou liest, thou shag-haired villain.
You egg!
He has killed me, mother. Run away, I pray you.
Murder! Murder!
Act 4, Scene 3.
Let us seek out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men bestride our downfall and birth them. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as if it felt but Scotland and yelled out like a syllable of dolor.
What I believe I'll wail, what no believe, and what I can redress, as I shall find the time to friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may be so, perchance this tyrant, whose sole name blisters our tongues, was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may deserve of him through me. And wisdom to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry God.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul would wear the brows of grace, your yet grace must still look so.
I have lost my hopes.
Perchance even there where I did find my doubts. Why in that rawness left you wife and child, those precious motives, those strong knots of love without leave taking? I pray you, let not my jealousies be your dishonors, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Plead, plead, poor country. The title is afeard. Fare thee well, lord. I would not be the villain that thou think'st for the whole space that's in the tyrant's grasp, and the rich east to boot.
Be not offended. I speak not as in absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer and more sundry ways than ever by him that shall succeed.
What should he be?
It is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow.
Not in legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned in evils to top Macbeth.
I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name. But there's no bottom, none in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust, and my desire, all continent impediments, would o'erbear that did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such an one to reign.
Boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. But fear not yet to take upon you what is yours, my lord. We have willing dames enough. There cannot be that vulture in you, to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With this, there grows in my most ill-composed affection such a stanchless avarice that, were I king, I should cut off the nobles for their lands, desire his jewels and this other's house, and my more having would be as a sauce to make me hunger more. That I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
This avarice sticks deeper, grows with a more pernicious root than summer seeming lust. Yet do not fear. Scotland hath foisons to fill up your will. Of your mere own, all these are portable with other graces, Wade.
But I have none. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Oh, Scotland, Scotland.
If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern? No, not to live. O nation miserable with an untitled tyrant, bloody sceptred, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since that truest issue of thy throne by his own interdiction stands accursed, and does blaspheme his breed? Now, fare thee well. These evils thou repeatest upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. Oh, my breast, thy hope ends here.
Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor. Devilish Macbeth by many of these trains hath sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from over-credulous haste. But God above deal between thee and me, for even now I put myself to thy detraction, and unspeak mine own detraction. I am yet unknown to woman, never was forsworn, scarcely have coveted what was mine own. At no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was this upon myself. What I am truly is thine and my poor country's to command. Whither indeed before thy here approach, old Seward, with 10,000 warlike men already at a point, was setting forth. Now we'll together, and the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once. 'Tis hard to reconcile. See, who comes here?
My countryman, but yet I know him not.
My ever gentle cousin, welcome hither. Stand Scotland where it did.
Lass, poor country, almost afraid to know itself.
O relation, too nice and yet too true. How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant is not battered at their peace?
No. They were well at peace when I did leave them.
But not a niggard of your speech. How goes it?
But I could answer comfort. I have words that would be howled out in the desert air where hearing should not latch them.
What concern they? The general cause, is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in it shares some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly, let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard.
Is that it?
Your castle is surprised, your wife and babe savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner were, on the quarry of these murdered deer, to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven!
My children too.
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence. My wife killed too.
I have said.
Be comforted. Let us make medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. And all my pretty ones. Did you say all? Oh. Okay. Oh. All my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop.
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so. But I must also feel it like a man. I cannot remember such things where they were most precious to me. Did heaven look on? would not take their part. Sinful Macduff, they were all struck for thee. Not that I am, not for their demerits, but for mine. Fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Blunt not the heart, enrage it.
I could play the woman with mine eyes and the braggart of my tongue. Oh, but heaven, cut short all intermission, front to front. Bring thou this fiend to Scotland, and myself within my sword's length set him. If he escape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Come, go we to the king. Our power is ready. Our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for shaking, and the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
Act 5, Scene 1.
Lo, you, here she comes. This is her very guise. And upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her. Stand close.
How came she by that light?
Why, it stood by her. She has light by her continually. 'Tis her command.
You see, her eyes are open.
Eyes, but their sense is shut.
Yet here's Spot. Oh, damn Spot. How'd I say? 1, 2. Why, then it's time to do't. Hell is murky. By my lord, by! A soldier and a beard? What need have we to fear, who know it when none can call our power to account? Yet who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him?
Do you mark that?
The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What? Will these hands ne'er be clean? No more of that, my lord, no more. You mar all with this starting. Here's the smell of blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not whiten this little hand.
What a size there! The heart is sorely charged.
I would not have a heart, such a heart, in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you again, Banquo is dead. He cannot come out his grave.
Even so.
To bed. To bed. To bed. There's a knocking at the gate. Come, give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed. To bed. To bed.
Will she go now to bed?
Directly.
Or needs she the divine and the physician? God forgive us all. Look after her. My mind she has mated and amazed my sight. I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, dear doctor.
Act 5, Scene 2.
The English power is near, led on by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff. Revenges burn in them, for their dear causes would to the bleeding and the grim alarm excite the mortified man.
Near Burnham Wood shall we meet them. That way are they coming.
Who knows if Donalbain be with his brother?
For certain, sir, he is not. I have a file of all the gentry. There is Seward's son, and many unrough youths that even now protest their first of manhood.
What does the tyrant?
Great Dunson is strongly fortified. Some say he's mad. Others that lesser hate him do call it valiant fury. But for certain he cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of rule.
Now does he feel his secret murder sticking on his hands. Now minutely revolts upbraid his faith breach. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief.
Who then shall blame his pestered senses to recoil and start, when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there? Well, march we on to give obedience where 'tis truly owed. Meet we the medicine of the sickly weal, and with him pour we in our country's purge, each drop of us.
Or so much as it needs to do the sovereign flower and drown the weeds. Make we our march toward Burnham.
Act 5, Scene 3.
Bring me no more reports. Let them fly all. Till Burnham Wood remove to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear. What's the boy, Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequence have pronounced me thus: fear not, Macbeth. No man that's born of woman shall e'er have power upon thee. Then fly, false thanes, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by and the heart I bear shall never sag with doubt nor shake with fear. The devil damn thee black, thou cream-faced loon! Where gotst thou that goose look?
There is 10,000
Geese, villain!
soldiers, sir.
Go, prick thy face and overread thy fear, thou lily-livered boy. What soldiers, Patch? Death of thy soul, those linen cheeks of thine are counselors to fear. What soldiers, Wayface?
The English force, so please you.
Take thy face hence. Satan! I am sick at heart when I behold. Satan, I say! This push will cheer me ever, or deceit me now. I have lived long enough. My way of life is fallen into the sear, the yellow leaf. And that which should accompany old age is honor, love, obedience. Troops of friends I must not look to have, but in their stead curses, not loud, but deep mouth honor, breath which the poor heart would fain deny and dare not. Satan!
What is your gracious pleasure?
What news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight till my bones, my flesh be hacked. Give me my armor.
Is not needed yet.
I'll put it on. Send out more horses. Scur the country round. Hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armor. How does your patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick-coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
I'll cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased? Pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow, raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet, oblivious antidote, cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart?
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Throw physics to the dogs, I'll none of it. Come, put mine armor on. Give me my staff. Will not be not afraid of death and bane till Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane.
Were I from Dunsinane away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here.
Act 5, Scene 4.
Cousins, I hope the days are near at hand that Chambers will be safe.
We doubted nothing.
What wood is this before us?
Well, the wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host and make discovery err in report of us.
Shall be done.
We learn no other, but the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane and will endure our settling down before it.
'Tis his main hope. For where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him but constrained things whose hearts are absent too.
That our just censures intend the true event, and we put on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches that with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. Thoughts speculative, their unsure hopes relate, but certain issues strokes must arbitrate, towards which advance the war.
Act 5, Scene 5.
Hang our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still, they come. Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced with those that should be ours, we might have met them dareful, beard to beard, and beat them backward home. What is that noise?
It is the cry of women, my good lord.
I've almost forgot the taste of fears. The time has been, my senses would have cooled to hear a night shrink. My fell of hair would have a dismal treatise rouse and stir as life were in't. I have supped full with horrors. Direness, familiar to my slaughterous thoughts, cannot once start me. Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow. And tomorrow. And tomorrow. Creeps in this petty pace from day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
Well, say, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked towards Burnham, and anon, methought the wood began to move.
Liar and slave!
Let me endure your wrath, if it be not so. Within this 3 mile, may you see it coming. I say, a moving grove.
If thou speakest false, upon the next tree shalt thou hang alive, till famine cling thee. If thy speech be sooth, I care not thou dost for me as much. I pull in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth. Fear not, till Burnham Wood do come to Dunsinane, and now a wood comes to Dunsinane. Arm, and out! If this which he avouches doth appear, there is no flying hence nor tarrying here. I begin to be aweary of the sun. I wish the estate of the world were now undone. Ring the alarum bell, blow wind, come rack. At least we'll die with harness on our back.
Act 5, Scene 6.
Now near enough. Your leafy screens throw down and show like those you are. You, worthy uncle, shall with my cousin, your right's noble son, lead our first battle. Worthy Macduff and we shall take upon what else remains to do according to our order.
Very well. Do we but find the tyrant's power tonight, let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Make all our trumpets speak. Give them all breath. Those clamors harbingers of blood and death.
Act 5, Scene 7.
They have tied me to a stake. I cannot fly, but bear-like I must fight the course. What's he that was not born of woman? Such a one I am to fear or none.
What is thy name?
Thou'lt be afraid to hear it.
No, though thou callest thyself a hotter name than any is in hell.
My name's Macbeth.
The devil himself could not pronounce a little more hateful to mine ear.
No, nor more fearful.
Thou liest, abhorred tyrant with my sword. I'll prove the lie thou speakest.
Thou want'st a woman, but swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn, brandished by man, that's of a woman born.
That's why the noise is, Tyrant, show thy face. If thou be slain, with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched kerns, whose arms are hired to bear their staves. Either thou, Macbeth, or else my sword with an unbattered edge I sheath again. Oh, let me find him, fortune, and more I beg not.
This way, my lord, the castle's gently rendered. The tyrant's people on both sides do fight, the noble thanes do bravely in the war. But they almost itself professes yours, and little is to do.
We have met with foes that strike beside us.
Enter, sir, the castle.
Act 5, Scene 8.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die on mine own sword? Whilst I see lives, the gashes do better upon them.
Turn, hellhounds, turn!
Of all men else I have avoided thee, but get thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out. Ah!
Thou losest labor! As easy mayest thou the entrenchant air with thy keen sword impresses makes me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crest. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born.
Spare thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee, Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Cursed be that tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these juggling fiends no more believed, that palter with us in a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
And yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee, as our rarer monsters are, painted on a pole, and under it, here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield. To kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rabble's curse, though Burnham would come to Dunsinane, and thou oppose, being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, hold enough.
I would the friends we miss were safe arrived.
So must go off, and yet by these I see so great a day as this is cheaply bought.
Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. Like a man he died.
Then is he dead?
Aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his worth, for then it hath no end.
Had he his hurts before?
Aye, on the front.
Why then, God's soldier be he. Had I as many sons as I have hairs, I would not wish them to a fairer death, and so his null is nulled.
He's worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend for him.
He's worth no more, they say. He parted well and paid his score, and so God be with him. Here comes newer comfort.
Hail, King! For thou so art, behold, where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail, King of Scotland.
We shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you. My thanes and kinsmen, henceforth be earls, the first that ever Scotland in such an honor named. What's more to do, which would be planted newly with the time, is calling home our exiled friends abroad that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought, by self and violent hands took off her life. This, and what needful else that calls upon us, by the grace of grace, we will perform in measure, time, and place. So thanks to all at once, and to each one, whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone.
Congratulations, everyone, on a show and on a night and on an entire season. Actors, as I am speaking, I have thrown us into speaker view, so everyone can please bring your cameras in, and we're going to run a quick curtain call here. All right, so when I say your name, please do say something so that you become the speaker so you can take your bow. Tonight, in the roles of the second murder and the second apparition, you had myself. Please donate to the center. Please vote. Please stick around and see us if we come back in January. Tonight, in the role of the third murder and the third apparition, we had Eric.
That's me. Good night, everybody.
In the role of Fleance and Macduff's son, we had Joey.
That's me.
In the role of the messenger, the attendant, and the servant, we had Patricia.
Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to donate.
And as Donald Bain and the young Seward, we had Jake.
Appreciate it, guys. I had fun.
As Lady Macduff and Satan, we had Shannon.
Thank you.
As the old man, the first apparition, and the Seward, we had Roger.
Hi, everyone. Thanks again. Good to see you all.
As the sergeant and the gentlewoman, we had Michelle.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
As the Lord and as Menteith, we had Chris.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
And as Angus and Hecate, we had Julia.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
As the porter, the first murderer, and the doctor, we had Carl.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
As Ross, Molly.
Thanks for watching, guys. Happy day after Halloween. Donate to the center, and for God's sake, vote.
As Lennox, Vera.
Thank you.
As Malcolm, we had Kevin Jr.
Thank you all so much. Have a great night.
And
Thank
as
you.
Duncan, Kevin Sr.
Let's not forget the great Scott.
Aw.
As Banquo, we had Steve.
Hello, good night, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
As Macduff, we had Jeremy.
All credit to this guy. He's the true hero here.
As the third witch, we had Kurt.
Hello, thank you guys. Happy Halloween, go vote.
As the second witch, Liz.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.
As the first witch, Wendy.
Thank you. Please donate to the center and vote.
As Lady Macbeth, we had Kelly.
Thank you, everybody. Donate to the center, vote, set your clocks back. Happy Halloween.
And as Macbeth tonight, we had Joe.
Thanks, everybody. Please vote. Thank you very much.
All right, and this was our last show for the season. I'm going to tell you that the center has a bunch of live theater coming up over the next few months. Please check their website and come see their shows. If you like what we do, come audition for their shows.
Drive-in live theater, live stream live theater. Check them out.
Yep, all kinds of great stuff. So make sure you check them out. Make sure you donate here or donate there. They do recurring donations. Please set up a recurring donation. And hopefully we will see you in January when we're hoping to come back. So with all of that from Livingroom Shakespeare, good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Night.
for
Good night.
joining us. Good
My
night.
pleasure.
Night.
Bye.